food. Want lots of smiles? Let's have a lot of fun today, okay?
In December 1990, the new Compass Airlines was welcomed with open arms and wallets by air travellers. Airfare prices plummeted and passengers got a taste of real competition. A year later, in the thick of the Christmas peak period, the airline collapsed, owing tens of millions of dollars. Attempts to revive it failed.
It was a great disappointment to everybody. I think it's starting to manifest itself as anger now.
Consumers now meet promises of a third airline with scepticism, having been burnt not once but twice by Compass Mark I and Compass Mark II, a later venture not associated with Brian Gray.
We are appreciative and sensitive to the fact that those people did lose their money, and they should never have lost it because Compass should be still operating today. Compass 2 I know nothing about, I had nothing to do with it. But to ensure that there is no stigma attached to that, we will ensure that every dollar that is collected by us in advance travel should be and will be placed in a trust account. And I would suggest...
To this day, Brian Gray believes his airline could have operated out of difficulty.
So what embitters me is the fact that Compass was operating in profits when it was closed, and it should never have been closed.
A key factor was the continuing battle with Qantas Airlines over access to its terminal gates.
If we had had those terminals from day one, Compass would never have had the problem it had. We put up with a tremendous amount of difficulty. We never ever did get into the Perth and Adelaide domestic terminals. In Sydney we're operating from the regional airlines area. Australian Airlines actually put up steel barriers to stop our passengers getting to taxis.
Brian Gray and the consortium behind him believe access to terminal gates is the key to success for this latest venture. And gate access is what's behind his federal court action.
We are absolutely determined that we'll get them according to the government contract.
Aussie Airlines wants to hold Qantas to its lease arrangement with the federal government. Both Qantas and Ansett are supposed to provide gate access to new domestic carriers. Qantas, to date, has refused to recognise Aussie Airlines as a new entrant. That all changed today.
How realistic are your chances of getting this new airline?
Oh, absolutely. There's never been any doubt about it. All we've needed is the access to the terminals.
When will you be ready to start?
We'll start before the end of the year.
Brian Gray appears to have been given another chance to get it right. The court found Aussie Airlines is a new entrant and should be treated as such by Qantas.
First step, of course, is to negotiate with Qantas the access to the terminals.
How sure are you that Qantas will now come to the negotiating table?
Well, they really have no alternative.
His ally is the federal government, which says it's committed to opening up domestic travel to new carriers. Its aviation policy says airport lessees will be required to provide adequate facilities to new carriers. And the government is prepared to go further, saying it will introduce regulations to prevent airport lessees from misusing their market power. Can you understand them fighting so hard to protect their own?
No, I can't, because they're cutting off their nose to spite their face, because the whole point is that the more competition, the market will generate and expand. The current government understands that, and that's why they have indicated they want to see competition.
The ball is in Qantas's court, and the Federal Transport Minister will be watching to see how the carrier responds. First indications are the airline will not give in so easily. A short time ago, Qantas issued a statement to the Australian Stock Exchange saying it was considering appealing the federal court decision.